Hey everybody, we're in the Wheels Through Time restoration shop, back working on the 2022 Wheels Through Time raffle bike, the 1937 Harley-Davidson Knucklehead. Now, as many of you guys know, we've been chronicling the entire build of this motorcycle for you guys. We're going to be giving this machine away November 19th, 2022. We've been bringing you guys from start to finish on the entire build of this thing. So today we're going to be unveiling the sheet metal and the paint job for this machine. It's absolutely incredible. But first, before we do, I want to take you through some of the progress that's been made since the last show. Now, since the last time you guys tuned in, there's been an incredible amount of work put into this bike to bring it to where it's at today. Kind of want to highlight some of that stuff for you guys to see. So last show, we were actually bolting the 61 cubic inch Knucklehead power plant into the frame here. We had the transmission installed, motor dropped in, fit absolutely flawlessly. And again, since then, huge progress. So just leading you through some of that stuff. We've got the air cleaner installed. Of course, motor was timed when we put it in. Since then, floorboards, brake pedal, beautiful CAD plating on the brake and clutch pedals, kicker pedal installed. Of course, oil tank was going in, maybe part of that last show. We've got the oil tank set in its place, oil lines plumbed. Big progress when you make your oil lines fit, you know, as they always take a little bit of tweaking. When you get the oil lines bolted on a motorcycle, you just feel like you've really kind of brought it one step closer to being finished. Now, as you guys can see, it's got the genuine 1936 style 36 and 7 style exhaust, long fishtail pipe type muffler here, early Y pipe that's incorporated into the muffler. They just did that the first few years of Knuckleheads. Early brake light switch. These parts here, some of the hardest stuff to find when it comes to building and restoring Harley-Davidson Knuckleheads. So this this brake light switch, they only used it for 2 years. Incredibly difficult stuff to find. Over to the other side, guys. Drive line is entirely hooked up now. As we got the motor bolted in last time, I believe we finished up on the top motor mount. Lower motor mounts, all 4 bolts are in. Generator was installed. We installed the inner primary, and we're just getting ready to hook up the drive line. So as of right now, we're set up and adjusted. We use the early style 1936-9 Knucklehead and big twin clutch. Very tough to find parts. All genuine components right inside of there. Motor sprocket installed and primary chain installed and adjusted. Rear chain installed also. We've got this thing geared pretty much as a standard Knucklehead back in the day. Thing will run down the road 65, 70 miles an hour all day, top speed, maybe upwards of 95, 100 miles an hour, the way that it's geared now. So really pleased with all that sort of progress. When the drive line's hooked up, literally this thing is almost ready to run down the road. Brakes installed, adjusted, front brake installed. I've still got a little bit of work to do to install to adjust the front brake, hook the cable up. Now all this stuff is going to come back apart as we bolt that front fender on. Rear fender's going to slide on real nice. So up top, high low beam wired and adjusted, horn button installed and wired. We've installed the speedometer. And again, the whole machine is actually wired minus what we've got to do on the front fender. When we install the front fender today, we're going to be doing the horn. On top of that, rear fender is going to go on, which of course houses the tail light. So we're going to get right to work. But first, I want to show you guys this paint. It's absolutely incredible. Now again, when we restore a raffle bike here at Wheels Through Time, we try and one-up last year and the year before and the year before. And if you ask me, it doesn't get any better than this 1937 one-year-only color Delphine blue with teak red striping edged with gold. This is, when you start with a paint chip and you know what a color's going to look like. We've seen bikes like this restored. This is, again, a one-year-only color. They actually started offering this in November of 1937, Delphine blue and teak red. When you start with it on the paint chip, it's easy to get real excited, but when you see the fenders in person and how nice this stuff actually looks and how it's going to set off this motorcycle. It's just really going to be one of the nicest paint jobs that we've done to date. So front fender ready to install. The rear fender we've got a little bit of work left to do on. We're going to be installing the hinge pin to get the rear hinged piece bolted to the fender. Once we do that, we'll get it set on the bike, get to installing tail lights and all the other accessories and trim pieces that are incorporated with the sheet metal. So here we go, guys. I got my buddy Chris helping me out today. Chris, let's get the jack over there. We'll get the front wheel jacked up and we'll start on the front fender there. All right. So in order to install this front fender, hours and hours of work to fit the front brake, the front wheel components, the rockers, all of this stuff has to come back apart in order for us to slide that fender right up into the between the fork. Luckily, once everything's fit, it goes back together really quick. So should be about 10-15 minutes to get this all set up, and we'll be sitting on the front wheel and the front fender. Excellent. This front fender has already been fit, so we're going to hope that it all goes right back together like it. Excellent. What a beautiful fender. 1 year only paint scheme, guys. The 37s, different from the 36s, different from the 38s. The 36s had a side valance here that would have been a different color than the top of the fender. 38, single stripe down the rib here. 37, if you ask me, it's one of the most beautiful paint jobs. Double stripes on each side. Of course, red, edged in gold. Wait till you guys see the gas tanks. Those are going to be here in a week or so. Going to be equally as nice as the fenders. Ever so gently. Oh my gosh, that's a great fit. Wow, nice. Okay, so we got nuts and bolts right here. Okay, very nice. Okay, keep her held there. We're gonna get these rockers back installed. Okay. Oh my God, that's gonna look so good. Oh, I love it. Okay, hold that fender for me,
I got
Chris.
you. Yeah, I got it mounted up, protected on the back here.
Always kind of a trick to slip these rockers in. You got to stretch the brace just a little. Beautiful, beautiful. Let's go. A little special lock tab. Oh, another perfect fit. This is the best part about using original components, guys. This is a genuine, couple year only Harley-Davidson Knucklehead front fender. When you're using real parts, everything just goes together like it should.
Perfect.
Oh gosh, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay, number two. Original parts and the work prior to and all of the fitment that we did before we ever took this to paint. It really pays off. So we got everything finger tight right now. Chris, let's go ahead and put our inner rocker nuts on. The thick one, the one of these that's thicker goes on the back leg.
Okay.
And then the thin one goes on the front leg. Now, original Harley-Davidson 9-bolt horns, incredibly difficult to find. This is a reproduced example, faithfully done. It's got the Harley-Davidson face on the front, wire terminal up top. This is what connects the hot to your headlight switch, and then the horn wires right into the back of the horn, so right from the ignition. So we're going to slide this in, Chris. We're going to go, let's go on the bottom first.
Okay.
Got this piece here, so I've got 2 bolts on the bottom. Bingo. And then that's actually going to get a plate across the back before we put the washers and nuts back there. Okay, it's on. You get her started here in good shape. Yeah. Okay. That'll allow us to at least get the front wheel back on. We're gonna jack it up just a hair more.
Okay.
That does it. Yep. Okay. Rotate forward there. Okay. What a fit. Did you see that axle slide in? That was fantastic. So, the Harley-Davidson Knucklehead rear fender, this is as nice of a specimen as there is. Original, completely original front fender. Couple years only, 36, 7, and 8. They use this style shroud, beautiful little tail light. Slides underneath the shroud, also incorporates the license plate bracket. The front of the fender, this was one nice fender, no rust, no major dings or dents. As you can see, our painters finished this absolutely perfect. Early style narrow brace. A little bit later, they went to a wider brace. Doesn't look nearly as beautiful and as graceful as the early type. So hinge pin. Now we've got the Harley-Davidson rear hinged fender. The purpose behind this was to be able to raise that rear hinge, pull your rear wheel out, and service the motorcycle, whether you're servicing wheel bearings, changing a tire, doing it all on the fly. So you don't have to have a jack to be able to lift the things up. Motorcycle's got a rear stand, which it's sitting on right now. Lug nut wrench, axle nut wrench, rear wheel will come right out. So we're gonna get this installed. Now, one of the things we've got to do once we've installed this is run the taillight wire through the fender. The taillight wire, it's beautifully hidden. As you guys can see, there's a rib right here, runs right up towards the hinge, a little bit of slack here, and then it runs internally underneath the shroud. So hidden taillight wire. Again, beautiful setup. Harley-Davidson had it all figured out back then. Some of the most beautiful and graceful motorcycles they ever made. Okay. Wow, beautiful. That is very nice. Bring her down. Mm-hmm. Yep, it's in. It's good. You gotta be real set up, man. I love it. Beautiful. Hinge pin installed. Okay, so let's see how it all fits here. Oh yeah,
that's beautiful.
That is unbelievable. Yep. Okay. So most of this stuff, guys, all has to do with the rear fender. So as you guys can see, we got chain guard underneath. Of course, lug nuts front and rear, rear stand catch, toolbox, the battery box, or battery lid, excuse me, and battery flags, the tie downs here. All of that gets installed behind your oil tank in where the 6-volt battery goes, and bolts to the rear fender. So tail light, I'll tell you all about the tail light real shortly. We're ready to drop that fender on there. So yeah, those are your washers. So I'll put one over on my side, one on your side, and then let's drop this thing in. Be extra careful doing it. I got this side, and here we go. Okay, bring her down, Chris, and you're gonna also hold the brace out on the outside of that fender.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Pre-fit. Absolutely beautiful. So now I've got the fender. You're
Okay.
up.
Yep.
Okay, you can go ahead and put a nut, washer, lock washer, and a nut. 3 loose. Hand tight.
Yep.
Looks like it's a great fit up behind the oil tank. Just awesome. Good deal. Okay, tail light wire, guys. Tail light wire coming from the hot post. Brake light wire coming from the brake light switch. So each one of these, and what I'll probably do is get a small piece of electrical tape and tape them together so they run up through the channel together. Tedious stuff, you know. It seems like things happen pretty quick when you get bolt and sheet metal on, but it all takes time, guys. Okay. Sliding the wheel out. You got the hinge?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Careful, don't go too high with it. All right. So let's see if I can use this to poke back here. Yes, sir. Run them both. Amazing. Wow, that's great. All right. Wires ran. That was tedious. Whew. And then you leave a little extra slack. Let me cut this off here so we can keep that all out of the way. Okay. Wow, what a perfect fit. Now, some of the first steps that we made on this bike, when we got the frame set onto the rear stand and the fork bolted on, we fit the sheet metal. And guys, when you're assembling a bike, final assembling a motorcycle, there really is no substitute for having pre-fit all the sheet metal. It makes sure everything goes together nice. There's no drilling out holes and filing things that don't quite line up. This is absolutely perfect, straight as an arrow, and gosh, it's got the look, beautiful. Slide her up just a hair, bring that up. Mm-hmm. Bring this right into the back. Onto the toolbox. 1936 to 9 Harley-Davidson toolbox, guys. One of the rarest components that there is. Just use this on the Knuckleheads for just a few short years. So rectangle toolbox, should have a hinge inside, and kind of a neat thing. They changed the patent decals and locations on a lot of these bikes early on. 37, they left the toolbox blank, ran the patent decal right there on both sides of the oil tank, actually. So good stuff, Chris. Beautiful. Let's shut that toolbox down. Oh, just sets it off with this rectangular toolbox. Cool, man. We are ready to bolt this rear fender on, Chris, and then taillight, and we can call it a day. We might just hang that taillight on, leave it for the next show when we're hooking the rest of the stuff up, checking all of our final wiring. Of course, we got to finish the horn. Chris, if you want to go ahead and hold that flip up for me, and then I'm gonna get some grease. We'll grease this axle, get her buttoned up, take a step back, and see what kind of progress we made.
Sounds good.
Beautiful. Rear stand clip, tail light. Not much left to do. Okay, this is an easy taillight wire, actually, so I think we'll go ahead and do it. All right, guys, original 1930s up through 1938 Harley-Davidson taillight. Really cool piece. Hold on, let me get her undone. I'll show you how this works. Now, this piece is 100% original. This is the hardest stuff to find, okay? Original Bakelite terminal there for where your bulb, brake light, and tail light both make contact in the back, the way slips over your wiring here. Each wire is held in with a small screw on each side. It's locked into the taillight, and then you slide the bulb in from the other side and it locks in. So easy stuff. Harley had it figured out back then. Most of the reproduction stuff that you buy doesn't have anything like this when it comes to attention to detail. Really, you just hardwire them and you bolt it up. This makes your actual tail lamp pretty much removable. So we're gonna get this set up over this way, and then we'll bolt that tail light on. Okay, ready to bolt in the tail light. Let's slide this up and peel this out. Okay, pop this in the back. See how it goes in here, Chris? It's got these two little tips on the end, these little studs that protrude out, and it slides in and then locks in place. So let's see if, yep. Okay, last bolts, Chris, here we go. These right on the end here, 1 and 2, and then we can wrap it up for the day and take a step back and see how it looks. Okay, you go. The bolt just goes directly up against the fender tab. So then flat washer, lock washer over on the other side. Okay. All right, man. Unbelievable. This is starting to shape up and look like a real motorcycle, guys. I can't wait to take a step back and see how this paint job looks on this bike. It really sets off against the black, you know, black oil tank, black frame, black fork, black wheels. Of course, the engine mostly black on the top end, black handlebars, black headlight, that Delphine blue and teak red, incredibly sharp. You know what? These white grips really look nice with that blue and red, Chris.
Yeah, that's great.
Straighten our headlight. We still got some wiring up front with the horn and the headlight. We've got the rear end wired. Holy cow. What do you think, man?
It's impressive, man. The paint is just incredible.
This is quickly shaping up to be one of my favorite raffle bikes that we've ever done here at the museum.
Definitely.
1937 Harley-Davidson Knucklehead. You guys can win it November 19th. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you get with us next show. We're going to be bolting on the gas tanks, finishing some wiring, and hopefully starting this motorcycle up for the first time, guys. Wheels Through Time raffle 2022. Thanks for tuning in.